Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. I am so grateful for you to be listening. I've had such a great response to this, and I'm really appreciative of everyone. If you could remember to hit like and subscribe if you have been enjoying those episodes, that would be so amazing and very much appreciated. I am here today with my good friend, a fellow school mom, and my former neighbor, Maureen Kelsey of Maureen Kelsey Designs. Maureen Kelsey is an interior designer with over 15 years of management experience and 10 years in interior design, which is one of my favorite topics. She has worked on both commercial and residential properties. She specializes in planning, space planning, furniture, and decor selection, as well as color palettes and material selections, and lighting design, which I was just talking to a client about lighting design yesterday, how important that is.
So important.
So important. She has published works in Marin Magazine and SF Eater. She's also a Petaluma resident, a mom of two, a mom of 3 dogs who are adorable, and a husband who she absolutely adores. So welcome so much, Maureen. I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so fun to go like full circle from where we met in life and then becoming back on this end as
Absolutely.
well. So great.
It's been a great journey.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah.
So speaking of your journey, can you tell us more about your journey in interior design and in this realm and industry?
Absolutely. So it's been quite a journey. The main part of my career I spent in corporate retail, and I was a project manager for over 15 years, and it was great. I really liked my job, and I did a lot with design through corporate retail. So I helped open new stores. So I was working with architects and contractors there. I was doing visual operations, so where placements of fixtures and mannequins would be, and working on customer experience, and all that was really great. I liked it. I really loved the people I worked with, but every single day, truly every day, I was like, this is not my dream, and I want to be doing design, and I want to be helping people on a personal level. So it took me a long time before I took the leap to start actually doing something about it.
Right. It's a scary jump.
It is a very scary jump. So I got my business license, and I started doing, design in my own house, design for friends, and then I posted on Nextdoor saying, is anyone looking for a designer? And got my first client, who is still a friend and a dear client to this day. And I was really nervous to get started, but we had a great experience, great meeting. And then I ended up designing multiple rooms of her house.
Wow.
She told her friends about me, and then I started doing their houses. So it slowly started to grow. Then my husband got relocated to LA for 2 years. So we moved down there, and I met a amazing real estate agent down there who was connected to so many people, and she referred me to everyone. So that's when I really started to grow and have a lot more different types of projects, even commercial projects at that point. So I was working in LA and then also had my clients up here. And that was the point where I felt like, okay, I have enough experience, enough clients where I can leave my very comfortable I knew when I was getting paid and a job that I was very, I was good at and very comfortable in. But I knew that was the time where I could finally take the leap. And I'm really glad I did. And now the business has been really great and has continued to grow. But I do have to tell people, it's hard when you have this dream and you are in a comfortable setting. But the only thing I can say is chip away at it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Because you will get there. But I just kept thinking, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? And I don't want to be later in life thinking, I wish I had. So
I love that advice because I do feel like, especially when you're taking that jump from having a predictable schedule, a predictable paycheck, all of the things, especially when you're a parent, you've got kids, it is very scary to take that leap. But also just your advice of just go for it, because I think so many people wait for everything to be perfect and lined up perfectly, and it's not going to be. So you're just never going to do it if you wait for that.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really, really valuable advice.
Thank you.
And also, I'm so proud of you for taking that jump, because it's a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's scary. It definitely is. But it's also exciting, you know, and to be able to do something now that truly makes my heart so happy every day, I know I made the right decision. And my husband and I were talking the other day, if we won the lottery, would we quit our jobs?
Great question.
And I know this is ridiculous, but I wouldn't. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
I would still keep doing it because I just, I love my clients and I love what I do so much. So I know that this is the right thing for me.
You get fulfilled by it.
Yes.
I really did think like maybe you were going to be like me and be like, I'd probably just volunteer at the animal shelter all day.
Well, yeah, that too.
Because I know you.
and we could get a farm.
Totally. I can help you find
animals.
a farm.
Okay. Yes, you could. Okay.
That's awesome.
Maybe we'll do that if I win the lottery. We'll say that now.
Perfect. But you can still design too on the side.
Yeah.
And rescue animals.
Great. Do it all.
So awesome. What sets you apart in your design firm from other firms in the area?
So, I mean, there's so many great designers out there, but I think what makes me special is my ability to really connect with people and listen and meet my clients where they are. So when I meet with a client, it's just really important for me to understand how they want their space to function, how do they live in their space, and whether it's residential or commercial. There is a lot to factor in, but I really try to make it fun for my clients because it's so personal having someone in your home, and it's stressful for people, especially if you are under construction. It's a lot. So we really try to have a good time, and I keep the communication going always.
Great.
And push my clients to maybe get them out of their comfort zone.
I love that.
To think about things differently and how we can really elevate their space that maybe they hadn't even thought about. So I think it's just the personal piece for me. And what's been great is so many of my clients are now my friends.
That's amazing.
I've met some really amazing people, and it's been a good experience.
I love that. I think, too, that communication piece that you are so communicative, it probably really helps ease people when they are feeling stressed out. They know what's coming. They don't have to ask you. They already know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it varies for every client, too, the communication piece. So some people, we talk every day, multiple times a day. Some people, we just have a weekly check-in. Yep. Again, I try to meet them where they're at and what kind of support and comfort they need, how much information they need. We make it work.
It's all the pieces of the puzzle because it's not just design, it's also business operation and then working with your clients. So
project management, yes.
Project management.
Yeah.
I would assume too, like sometimes you have to be a little sensitive because you're going into their homes and you don't want to accidentally diss anyone's style.
Absolutely.
Or you have to word your words very cautiously, I'm sure.
Certainly. But I'm also pretty direct,
Good.
but in a kind way.
Good.
And I think it's important to know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
I will always be political about it, but it's good to know where the opportunities are, and maybe something that they hadn't thought about, but just to get them thinking about how we could do something differently.
Well, and that's why they hired you, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
How do you approach your initial consultation? How would it go if there was a new client just meeting you? How would that go?
So we start off with a phone conversation so I can understand what the scope of the project is. And from there, then I will do a site visit. And all of that's complimentary because I want to meet with the client, make sure we're going to work well together, really understand the space and what the needs are. So once I'm in the space and can really understand, again, what's working, what's not working, what changes they're looking to have made, look at the rest of the style of the house. How are we going to implement that style if we're updating a room, or are we changing everything?
Right.
Then from there, if everything works out and I get the contract, then we will start with the design plan. And I will put together a design plan, space layout, and proposal of finishes and furniture. And usually there's options of 3 different options to choose from.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's tweaks along the way.
Right.
So if they're like, I like the sofa in option 3, but the paint color in option 2.
Oh, I see. And mix and match a
so we
little.
can always make adjustments.
Do you have software for that, or how does that work? Or is this
It is software.
Wow,
yes.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And then, there's a whole product list and pricing. And I always am very diligent to make sure that I'm staying within the client's budget.
Right.
So that's really important to at least have some sort of idea in the initial meeting of what your budget is, what kind of numbers you'd like to stay within, because that helps me just refine my selections.
Great.
And then once we make the choices and get everything going there, then I will do the orders and placement for the clients. And just depending on what their needs are, we can do one big install or we can order pieces and start slowly adding them to the space.
Great. Gosh, I really want to have you in my house.
I'll come over. We'll have some wine.
Although you used to, when you lived on the other side of the fence, you
Yes.
used to like come settle like spousal debates about floor colors and that sort of thing. It was very helpful.
Yes, thank you.
But I need you to like come do like an actual overhaul, probably of our kitchen. That's where I would start.
Anytime. I love kitchens.
Yes,
I love doing
yes,
kitchens.
for sure. Can you share with me maybe some of your favorite projects or what has been special to you? Some of your projects that you've done that are more special?
Absolutely. So I love commercial and residential for different reasons. So from a commercial standpoint, I actually this year just got done a restaurant in Sausalito.
Oh, amazing. Congrats.
It's called Dita's, and it's the space above the Trident. So definitely go check it out. The food's amazing. So that was really special for me. It was a very complex project and took quite a lot of time. There was a lot of changes throughout the journey, but it was amazing, and I'm really proud of the end result. Cool. And I love residential projects, and it's personal to have you or have me go over to their home and see how the family functions and are there kids and animals in the house, and how do we make it really special for them. And I had just recently as well a first-time home buyer, and he had been saving up for a really long time and had this dream about this amazing bathroom that he wanted to do, and just to be able to give that space to him and work with him to make his very first home like really special for him was great. I loved it. So I love them all, just for different reasons.
Do you ever take your kids to the commercial projects you've done and show them? Like, do they know how amazing you are?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. I do take them. There's some more commercial projects that I did in town if anyone ever wants to see it too. But I've taken the kids to so the Moon Room downtown. Threads Boutique.
Yes.
The Petaluma Christian Church.
Great.
And I feel like I'm forgetting one. Sorry if
it pops in your head later, just shout it out.
Yeah,
yeah, perfect.
Definitely.
I love that. I didn't realize you'd done so much in downtown Petaluma too.
Yes,
that's amazing.
And I have my eye on more.
Good.
Yeah, let's revamp all of it.
I love that. What are some of the key factors you consider when you're designing like a commercial or a residential space? I mean, they're both so different.
So from a residential space, it's important to understand how the family lives in the space. What's working, what's not from a flow perspective. Yeah. Do they have kids? Do they have dogs? What kind of materials are we choosing for them in that aspect? And it has to be beautiful, of course, but it also has to function. Yeah. That is always the top key priority for me. If it doesn't work well, if your kitchen's just not optimized, but it looks really pretty, what's the point? So then from a commercial perspective, we have to understand the brand vision and, design to that brand vision and model. And then from that standpoint, there's a lot more complicated pieces. Yeah. So, are all the requirements from a city and state being met?
Right.
ADA. How are we optimizing the flow of the space for the workflow? What are the acoustics like? How is the lighting plan implemented? All of the furnishings have to be really durable because of high traffic. Right. So it's a lot more complicated, but I love it. But there's just different nuances to consider.
I hadn't thought of any of that. How did you learn all of that? Just from trial and error going through it, or?
I mean, studying, going through it. Experience is huge.
Yep.
All of the above.
Yep. Gosh, the traffic flow and everything. And I'm thinking especially restaurants, not just people coming and sitting, but how many times they have to be sanitized and wiped down. And
the employees, how are they flowing through the space? Where's food coming in and out of?
Right.
I mean, drinks, all of the things.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Thanks.
What trends do you see? This is always a question I get asked, and I am not a designer. I'm just a realtor. What trends do you see for more residential interior design coming up?
I study this a lot. I spend hours every week researching, design sites, design blogs, social media, just to see what's new, what's happening, what's coming up, what are people gravitating towards right now, and what is coming up in the future. So we are seeing a shift of no longer super modern, really clean spaces. There's a lot more warmth coming in.
Great.
There is the vintage pieces or local craftsmen, doing specialty cabinetry.
I love that.
Unlacquered brass, something that looks aged and a little bit more warm. We're seeing more of like this paint color in here, moodier, darker paint colors.
Yep.
Where white is still happening, but people are gravitating more towards some warmer walls, warmer and deeper, richer, wall colors. Again, vintage is making a big revival. I think
Great.
that's from a sustainability standpoint, and just people want some soul in their rooms. And bringing in natural elements is still very big and continues to be. There's all these studies about how important it is to have living plants or really real-looking living plants, and what that does for people's mood. They want to be closer to nature and have that feeling in their space.
I love that. You're actually describing my style, so I'm glad I'm finally going to be on trend.
You are on trend.
I don't know, but I will be. As we're coming into this, I'm like, I like the moodier, the warmer plants all over that I somehow managed to keep alive.
Great.
Yes.
It
Some
makes
are fake,
people
but
feel
mostly are real.
comfortable.
It does. I think for me, it's more of like a cozy feeling, even if it's not always on
Certainly.
trend, although it sounds like it is now.
Yes.
That is like the vibe I go for, more of like that boho, cozy, like moody vibe. So
Absolutely.
that makes me excited. I also love the word moody for design. Like I just love it. So and moody. Every time I read it in a magazine, like a design magazine or a paint color that's moody, I'm like, yes, I love that.
I need that.
I need the moody color. That's so awesome. Collaboration is often crucial in the design industry.
Absolutely.
It's got to be such a huge piece of it. How do you work with other professionals, architects, contractors to make sure that the project is done well, that it's done on time, done the way you and your clients want it?
Early collaboration is key with that, and having open and clear communication. So from an early standpoint, just having all of your roles clearly defined, who's doing what. And it is helpful, even with a project where we are working with an architect, to bring a designer, bring me on early on, because then I can help influence, wall placement or the lighting, the plumbing placement. All of that's really important to think about early on to bring in a designer. It's fine later on, but earlier the better.
Right.
But just having open communication. And again, some people, we have a communication, it's a weekly touch base to check in. Other people want to have daily calls. So it just depends on who you are working with. But, I always have respect for them and their craft, and we're all professionals and here to work together. So it's always been a really nice experience for me. And,
that.
I just think, if there's questions, ask them. And if you have feedback, give it. So it's just communication.
Well, and you all have the common goal of making that client
Absolutely.
happy. So that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. In your experience, how do you handle any budget constraints that people have while still delivering that high quality design?
Budget is a factor a lot, especially in a residential property. But I like that challenge, and there's so much that you can do without spending a ton of money. So things like just changing the paint color on the wall can absolutely shift the whole feeling of a room.
Yes.
Sometimes even if you just look at the furniture that the client already has and how we can move it from one room to the next, it makes it feel fresh and new for them. There's a lot of sites that you can purchase furniture that it's not going to break the bank but has high design.
Yes.
Which is great. Also Facebook Marketplace. We've had some luck, finding some really beautiful pieces there that people just don't want anymore. And
great idea.
They're amazing quality, and you get it for a lot less. So you can definitely work with all kinds of budgets, depending on where the client's budget is and what their needs are. But having a lower budget doesn't need to stop you. You can absolutely still make your space beautiful and inviting and comfortable.
I think those are really good tips. It does feel so different when you just do a new paint color. Like it changes everything, your mood and everything. That moody paint color again.
Moody paint. Get out the movie paint.
Totally. But also just thinking of like shifting your furniture. And a lot of times, we'll do this when we're getting a listing ready is like, okay, we're going to remove this piece and we're going to ship this over. And it just changes the whole vibe of the room. So
even new rugs, you can absolutely break the bank on some really fine rugs, which are gorgeous. But there are a lot of rug sites now too, rug retailers that you can get a really beautiful rug.
Great.
And it's a fraction of, what some other places are selling them for. And that also can just make your space more cohesive and comfortable and bring in a different color palette.
Great. That's a really good tip is the rug. I didn't even think. I love rugs. I have ruggable though because we have so many pets and kids in our house that we have to wash them all the time.
I've never washed a ruggable rug. Is it pretty
It's easy to wash. It's not easy to dry because they don't want you to put them in the dryer, which when it's like a big 10-foot rug, where am I drying this? So usually I hang it like on the kids' play structure in the backyard.
That works.
Which is probably not super clean though, so I don't know if it's really helpful. Okay. But we're getting like, the pet odors out.
Absolutely. No, that's good. That's a good tip.
Yeah, no, I do like the washing machine factor. I do think I'm going to try to put it in the dryer once and see what actually happens, maybe like at the end of its life and see if I really needed to follow the rules. Yeah, watch it shrink and not fit my room anymore. No. That would be horrible. So getting off of business a little bit, can you tell me 3 fun facts about you personally?
Oh. I'm a huge animal lover, hence the farm that we're going to buy when I win the lottery and you help me find the perfect space. I love animals. So I have 3 dogs and I would have 10 if I could and want to always rescue. I just love animals. I'm from New York originally, born and raised. I've been in California since 2005. I'm not moving back because I hate the snow, but I love New York so much. Yeah. And a third fact about me, I'm a big plant lover.
Great.
I have over 50 in my house.
Oh my gosh, you're making me look crazy. Like lame here.
Every room, I know I sound insane, but some are air plants, so I'll count that.
Okay,
but,
that counts.
I just love greenery, and I think it just makes the space feel really comfortable.
Yes, I agree with you. Do you ever go to Flourish across the street?
Absolutely.
It's like
it's amazing.
favorite.
Yes, and they have some really unique plants that you don't see everywhere, and they're good quality plants. So
and they're so helpful over there too, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm very honest with them about that. My kids are very good with plants. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not at all. My husband's good with plants too. I tend to just only keep track of the indoor ones, and when they need to be watered, I'll let everyone else do the yard at our house. But they're so helpful over there at explaining
they are great.
How much how often they need to be watered, what kind of light they need, what room are you putting this in. So a little shout out to Flourish while we're on here.
Shout out to Flourish.
Yes. Is there anyone that's like really helped guide you in your career that you want to give a shout out to?
I have to say my husband.
I love that. Yeah.
Because I literally talk to him almost every day about how I wanted to make a career change, and he was the one that was my biggest cheerleader, and I needed that. And without his support, it might have taken me a lot longer to finally get there on my own. But he really, really supported me and encouraged me and tells everyone he knows that his wife's a designer.
Yeah.
So he's been probably the biggest impact for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And also just that, like, your career choices affect your spouse. And so that he was so on board with you and your cheerleader, like you were saying, to be able to be there for you in that way is amazing. So.
And I'm happier.
Oh, well, that probably helped. He's probably like, please, go on your own.
Go on your own. Please, for the love of God.
That's amazing. Where can my listeners find you? Like, so if they want to schedule an initial consultation, you don't have an office space, or you do?
No, it's a home office.
Home office,
and
perfect.
I have a studio in the backyard.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
yeah,
There's some moody paint in there.
Oh, moody paint. I'm there.
Perfect. So they can find me. I have a website, MaureenKelseyDesigns.com, Instagram, MK707. I'm on Yelp. I'm on Thumbtack. So yeah, they can find me.
Thumbtack, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that. That would be a good spot for you to be.
I found a lot of great clients
through
Thumbtack. Yeah.
That is really awesome. I didn't even think of that. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so
fun
much.
to have you in here.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe. Learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.